CATIA V5, Shape Sculptor. This will be regarding Boolean operations. So to access the Boolean operations, we need to go over here within the Creation tab, and you're going to find the Boolean operations over here. If you are familiar with CATIA V5, you know that you can use Boolean operations within other workbenches, such as part design, generative shape design, imagine and shape, and others. Over here within Shape Sculptor, this will work the same. The only difference is that over here we're going to use meshes. And I have multiple meshes already loaded over here, but I'm going to hide those. And we're going to start with these two meshes. So we have a box and we also have a cylinder over here. As you can see, this will be meshed. So the main difference between, and for example, this monkey that was imported from a Blender, we see that this was directly imported as an STL file. So you can do that over here as an STL. But the other two meshes were created using point clouds. So over here we have the possibility to add a wide variety of models, as we can see. And we also can add only point clouds that will be later created and defined as meshes. So we see the file formats that can be added over here. Now, to discuss the Boolean between those, I'm going to hide the monkey for this. If I will go within the wireframe, we're going to see that these two meshes have a certain tessellation. If you want to change that, you can use tessellate over here. You can also check one of my previous videos on this channel that will address tessellation. So for Boolean, if we start the operation, we're going to see that we're going to have two meshes over here, so A and B. And just like within other workbenches or even other softwares, these Boolean operations are used to combine, or you can also subtract or intersect 3D shapes in order to create complex geometries. And these are very useful for generative design, where you can better obtain much more complex shapes. So we have the possibility to directly select a mesh, as you can see over here. For example, mesh A will be the cylinder. Afterwards, for the mesh B, I will select the cube. And we're going to have two arrows over here. If I will just click apply by default with both arrows pointing in this direction, if I will click apply, the resulting Boolean will be a combination. So we have the box and we have the cylinder. If I will go within part design, in order to do a dynamic sectioning over here, I will slightly rotate this. We're going to see that the newly Boolean operated mesh will have the top of the cylinder, but over here on the interior will be a cutout. So we have that that hole over there, that opening. If I will double click the Boolean, we're going to see that if the arrow that is coming from the cylinder, I will have that inverted and I will click apply. Now the resultant Boolean operation will be that we're going to have those two cylinders, but keep in mind that those will also be filled in this case. Depending on the tessellation, you may have some visual imperatives over here, also that will be present on the mesh. So keep that in mind that if you want to tessellate the models, you can do that over here. If you're going to right click, create tessellate, and you can go even lower. So we see the element over here. In this case, for the element, it is important to select only elements that require tessellation. So these are already tessellated within the mesh creation. But for example, if I will bring something and we're going to see like imagine a shape or a part body, we can have that further tessellated directly over here within the Boolean operation. If not, you need to do that separately within Shape Sculptor with the tessellate feature. And if I will also select the other arrow to be inwards, so both of those will be with red and inwards. If I will hit apply, the resulting operation of this intersection between the cylinder and the cube will be the operation entitled Boolean 4 over here. As we can see, the inner profile of that cylinder. And if I will have that extracted, so we see that arrow pointing differently, we're going to obtain the cutout. So this will be the cube and we'll have the cutout of the cylinder. Now, these were simple Boolean operations. I have over here, for example, the Blender monkey, which was exported over here. It's called Suzanne. If you are not familiar with Blender, I highly recommend that you check this out, since the software is open source and has some of the features which are a little bit more advanced than the ones available in CATIA. So we have the monkey head over here. If, for example, I will go within Imagine and Shape, so go Shape, Imagine and Shape, I will position a new element over here. The new element will be, for example, a sphere. And I have the possibility to position this, for example, I will just put it on the monkey head over here. So like this. If we want to, we can have this scaled. So over here I will have that scaled on the z-axis. At the end I will press escape and I will select yes, that I want to apply the modifications, and we see that subdivided surface on top of the monkey head. If I will hide the monkey head, it will look like this. Now, if I'm gonna jump back within Shape Sculptor and for the Boolean operations, let's say that mesh A will be the monkey, and for the mesh B, I can do a right click, create tessellate. Since this object is currently defined by a NURBS, if I will go within the wireframe, we're gonna see that that sphere will only have those lines defining, let's say, the overall shape. While the monkey will be tessellated, that means we're gonna have vertices and triangles. But if I'm gonna select the newly defined element over here, I can do a tessellation. I can change also the sag and the step. In this case, I will go with 1 millimeter as the step. If I will click OK, we're gonna see how that mesh will be tessellated. Now, this will be finer than the monkey. Therefore, I can have this increase, for example, to 5. If I will click OK, you're gonna see that even now the tessellation of this will be slightly smaller, so I can go, for example, to 10. Now, within the Boolean operations, since both are now tessellated, I have the same workflow like previously with those two meshes. So by default, if I'm gonna leave both arrows with green, this will do a union between those. And we're gonna see the newly defined mesh will look like this. If, for example, I will do a reverse direction for the top part, that will only keep this section of the monkey. Now, this is a little bit different because the monkey head has multiple groups over here. And as you can see, those eyes will also remain because they are within a different group. We can see the different groups if we go within Digital Shape Editor. And over here, we're going to have the possibility to do a mesh cleaner for this. If I will go to Structure, Split in Connected Zones, currently they are all grouped, but I have the possibility to go distinct. And now we're going to have the monkey head, and those two eyes will be a different mesh over here. So keep that in mind, that if you have a mesh that is composed of multiple elements, you can go over here within Digital Shape Editor, Mesh Cleaner, and have those divided. If I'm gonna jump back within the Shape Sculptor, I will double click the Boolean operation, and let me also reverse the monkey over here. If I were gonna click apply, we're gonna see that the result will be this one. So we have that unification between that section and also the one from the subdivision sphere that we added. And we can also have this option, which will extract the top surface in this case. Where we had the subdivision, we'll actually do a split between those, since both will be meshes. Now, depending on the complexity of the models, I will also do a case study over here with this hand. This is quite detailed. So if you're gonna take a look at the mesh, we're gonna see how small those triangles will be, and this will have a high amount of points. You can check that easily within Blender. We see the number of triangles, 800,000 over here, and we see the number of vertices. You can also check that within CATIA. If you recall from previous videos, you can type in C information. Afterwards, you're gonna see those same specifications over here. So number of points will be number of vertices, because this is the same name, point and vertices, depending on the softwares. Edges, faces, and triangles will be within both. So we see the triangles, the same naming. And this is quite heavy, but we can still work with this. For example, if I will zoom in over here and I will go to start, I usually prefer to use Image and Shape to highlight this, but you can also use part design elements or others. It's just a little bit easier within Image and Shape to position myself like this over the mesh with a view, and afterwards I can create some elements. So for example, if I will bring this donut over here, as we can see, we also have a previous added part over there. And I just want to position this onto the hand. Afterwards, I will have this made larger, so 8 by 60 and by 60. We're gonna have this donut, and we're gonna increase this to 10. And now I can lower that within the 3D scan palm, so on the y-axis, and afterwards on the z-axis. And now negative on x. Okay, so something like that. If I'm gonna go within Boolean operations, we can do the same, just like previously. Mesh A, we can tessellate the subdivision surface over here. I will go with 5 in this case. And for mesh B, we can just select the hand. And now, as you can see, it took a little bit longer to compute that, but if I'm gonna select the negative for the top part, we're gonna see that within the resulting Boolean operation. Now it took a little bit more time to process, since the mesh of the hand is quite detailed, but this will give us only the top part of that donut position on the hand. And again, we can do the same. We can double click on that, and I will invert those two. CATIA will process. Now, since the 3D scan hand will remain, it took a little bit more to process, but we have that Boolean operation between those two. And the same workflow as previously can apply over here. So I hope that you find this video useful. I will position a similar video over here on the left. I will add this to the playlist. So I'm gonna make a specific playlist just for Shape Sculptor. And I will also add a subscribe button over here to the right. So that's it. Thanks for watching.